Maria Elena Cruz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Well, it has been nearly 9 months since Arizona's newest Supreme Court justice was sworn in, making history as the first Latina and Black justice to serve on the state's highest court since it was established 113 years ago. So it's been a long time and a long time overdue as well. This morning, we're checking in with Justice Cruz to see just how first several months have gone so far and all the work that she's done. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you're on the job. I mean, right now, I don't think, or in your words, can anything prepare you for what it's like to be a justice on the state Supreme Court?
Well, on the one hand, there's the legal preparation, which, one is doing for an entire career. And so from that perspective and dealing with the appeals, that was very much expected. And I was at the Court of Appeals for about 8 years prior, so that work is not very different in terms of the substance. What is different is going from making decisions on a panel of 3 people and decisions that are typically reviewable by the Supreme Court of the state to making decisions with 6 other people, the same 6 people for possibly years.
Yes.
And in most cases, our decisions on the Supreme Court are the final word. If they are on state matters, then they are the final word. So that's very different. And also the fact that not only do we look at what does the law say, what does our president say, but was that correct? And we have the power to change it when it isn't.
I mean, there's a lot of power, obviously, on the state high court here. And so I'm just curious, I mean, what are your main takeaways when you go to bed at night and you lay your head down and you just think about the work that you've done since you got sworn in? What is a word that comes to your mind?
Everyone. I think
Why?
because I reflecting from my time on the trial court when I made decisions over parties in front of me, and those obviously subject to appeal. And then even at the Court of Appeals, it was not the same as it is now on the Supreme Court. On the Supreme Court, we are making decisions that impact not only the people appearing in front of us, but everyone in our state. And so that is something that is very weighty.
Absolutely. I mean, and there's a reason that there's a rigorous process for those who would become a justice on our state's highest court. Something we talked about last year, when we talked earlier this year, as you were getting sworn in here, was something that motivated you was a lack of legal representation in our state. Specifically, you come from Yuma County, where it was very difficult to find that. And now we are hearing that there will be a proposal to look into letting law students take on some cases after they've been there for a year. That's something that you guys have talked about. But just tell me a little bit about where you see that going and why that might be so important for a state like ours.
So Arizona stands out. When you compare our state to the nation, we stand out in innovation. The program that you're talking about is something that is still at the early stages that we're exploring. Early. We consider a lot of different options before drilling down and voting and deciding whether this is something that's good for our state or not. But we already have similar programs. We have a program where law students who are in school under the supervision of a law professor already try cases in criminal cases. We have clinics where students go and represent folks and give advice in immigration and other matters. So in fact, when I was a law student, I tried cases as a student, misdemeanor criminal cases in Pima County. So the concept is not completely new, but we are considering a new proposal. We are trying different approaches to help ameliorate this issue of lack of legal representation, legal access. And that's a big lift, and it's going to take not only one program, but it's going to take different approaches to be able to meet the need.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, for years, we're going to be seeing if we can try and find a way to figure this issue out here. So it is Hispanic Heritage Month, and having you here, I feel like I just want to ask what it's like for you to be a role model for, young Black and brown, Arizonans who out there have not seen themselves reflected on the state's highest court. I have to imagine it's a big responsibility.
Yes, I think the most important thing that I can do, aside from doing the work well, which is first and foremost, is being very visible. That has an impact. I remember an attorney in Yuma mentioned to me, I didn't know for many years, but when I first started as a solo practitioner, I had an ad in the phone book, and a full page and color ad. And she said when she saw that, she was very young, and when she saw that, she had never seen a Latina lawyer ever. And she said, if she can do that, so can I. And so now she's a very successful attorney in our community. And that stayed with me when I learned of her story, and I realized that it's important for young people who have an interest in the law to just have access to be able to see me, to see my colleagues, you know, to see what it is that we do. In fact, last week I was at ASU in Tempe with a group of students, aspiring Latino lawyers. So a shout out to all at ASU, and I'm going to be meeting with the all group in Tucson pretty soon, just to talk to them about what my journey was like, and the fact that I do not have parents who are attorneys or grandparents. I don't come from generations of people in the law, but it is still something that if it's in your heart to serve in this way, then you absolutely can do it. And just having that contact, having them see me and have access to me, I think is making all the difference.
Right, and I think, you know, like you mentioned, just with your colleagues doing the work, you know, well, just being able to see the different, everyone, like you mentioned, just going back to there, that you're just, everyone is represented at least in some way on the High Court, and you're a big part of that. So thank you, Justice Maria Elena Cruz, for being here with us on Today in AZ. We really appreciate it.